righty. Want to welcome everyone to the official launch of Empowering Parents. I am Oscar West,
Ashley West.
and we do want to invite you to the Empowering Parent community. We are so excited, have so much gratitude for all those who signed up and will be signing up. On behalf of myself, my family, we believe that we've been called for a time such as this to share with you. So we want to again say welcome to the Empowering Parent community. For this hour, we're going to be with you for approximately an hour today. We just wanted to share a little bit about why empowering parents.
So empowering parents is so significant because parenting is such a vital role in our community as of today. The individuals who are called to look out for this next future generation. And so the reason that we decided upon empowering parents, parent empowerment, what we're talking about whenever we refer to that, what that sort of looks like is we're talking about building communities, having a community where there is an environment where parents can ask other parents about specific information that might be relevant to whatever situation that they might be going through. We're talking about building the confidence of parents to be able to live this lifestyle of parenting and giving them skills to actually be able to help them raise healthy individuals, because many times in life people who are parents, they went into parenthood not all that prepared to take on such a responsibility. And so with that being said, a lot of what they are working with, so to speak, is the way that they have been parented, without there being any specific knowledge going into it about this is the way that you speak to a child, or knowing the current knowledge level of children at certain ages. So I think that when we talk about parent empowerment, we are talking about equipping parents with the needed information and helping them become a part of an environment of other parents so that they do feel supported and become more confident in their own abilities to be able to parent.
Yeah, and that's really good. Just to give the people a little history. I don't think even as and I'm Ashley's father, if I didn't say that, I don't even think as with you growing up that I was necessarily a healthy parent, if I may say that. And that within itself has just come in a realization with that um can be somewhat apprehensive to people joining if you will, an empowering parent community, even because of embarrassment. But one of the things that I do want to share with our listeners, and even for those who may be viewing this even now or later, is that that is not a thing to necessarily be embarrassed by.
Right.
Mostly parents did what parents knew how to do. And that's a lot what I hear. I remember speaking with a superintendent at one point, and she was sharing how most parents are actually embarrassed. Most parents are actually embarrassed when we begin to talk about connecting with your child and looking and seeing maybe that they're not or they weren't at one point connecting with their child in a healthy way. I'm gonna use that word. But I just want to encourage the parents that just as I had to learn, we cannot be responsible. I like to say this when I'm sharing with people, we cannot be responsible for what we were given,
Right.
but we can be 100% responsible for what we have to learn and then begin now to actually give back. So again, I see Miss Sarah Terrio have actually come in. She's actually one of our moderators. So I do want to just acknowledge your presence and thank you for coming in. I do want to share a little bit with you what you can expect while you are in the community. So we're going to just take a look at that and what's in the community, first of all, but live monthly calls. We're going to be doing live monthly calls, setting dates to where we're actually going to come in and probably spend about 45 minutes to 60 minutes just sharing content with you, that will be found in our classroom portion. And I'll give people a look at the platform that we're actually using in a minute, but also Q&A workshops to ask questions and then expect answers. With that being said, let me be first of all to say that I'm not the expert, right? I'm not the expert.
Yeah.
However, we have experts that we will be bringing in the group. We also, maybe once or twice a week, that those dates are not completely set yet, we're going to be doing what's called Coffee and Connection. Coffee and Connection. And by the way, that name actually came up with Miss Terrio. So thank you for actually already participating within the group. And then we're going to have a number of discussions with like-minded people, just sharing with you. So I again just want to encourage you to actually share the information. I also notice now we have Miss Gidget as well. Miss Gidget as well, who's another moderator who's joining us. So I'm so excited for those of you who have already joined and for those who will be joining. I do want to give you a bird's eye view, so to speak. That's what I'm going to call it, of the actual community. So it is a private community, but when you come in the community, you will see here the word community. This is where all general comments can be shared, all type of different engagement. Right now we have 3 tabs at the top. One of them, well, 4 tabs. One of them is a general discussion. The other one is parent and tips. So whenever there are tips to be shared, those tips will actually be found in this area. Also a Q&A. Right now, we don't have anyone asking questions, but as you come in, you can ask questions and someone will answer. Within the classroom section, we do have a few templates that's up here. The one that's actually active right now is Connecting Over Correcting. That's one of my favorite ones. Actually, as a TBRI practitioner, we learned that connecting is so important, and connecting with your children, or the children that you have care of. When you come here and actually open it, you will be able to go through the classes. As we continue to build, this is where you will find most of those workshops at. Also, in your community, as today we are doing the actual official launch, we will be doing those coffee connections and coffee. Did I say that backwards? Yeah, coffee and connection. We were playing those. You would get a Zoom link or however or wherever we meet. There will be times where we'll do it right here, actually in our studio, or there'll be other times we will actually be sitting in an actual coffee shop and just having general conversation. You'll get those. Want to welcome you to be a part of the community. Also, any other trainings will all be listed here, and you will receive invites for all of them. So this here is just a bird's eye view of the community, but we invite you to get in, look around. You'll also notice here that there are different levels. I want to just explain a little bit what the levels are about. When you first get within the group, everyone begins at level 1. However, the more you engage, this school actually set up kind of a competition, is what I like to call it, is to encourage people to engage with one another. One of the things that they do to encourage you to engage is actually to set up levels. So how do you get to level 2? By gaining points. How do you gain points? Well, you gain points by, in your community, by commenting, by liking other people's posts, by placing things. As moderators, we are going to be dropping information in. Like the information, comment on the information, and then it's going to give you that engagement to actually begin to move up. And then I also want to share with you the About page. The About page is where you can actually begin sharing with other people more about empowering parents. So I would like to say that when we're sharing, one of the things I do want to ask of you, just as an expectation, is we want it to be a safe environment. And we do realize that as the group grows, people will come, and the more people will come, we want it to be a safe environment for everyone. So I will be asking you, just as one of the admins within the group, is to try to give more than you take from the group. Please do not spam people. You can message people, you can direct message people. Please do not spam people, sending them invitations and selling points. Unfortunately, sometimes, and to protect the integrity of the group and those that's in the group, if that does happen, please do let an administrator know or a moderator know, and we will address that matter. So, the final thing I do want to say then before we actually leave is just want to give you the information once more that if you would like to share the community with anyone, you can either scan this QR code or they can go to school.com, and yes, that is with a K. That's what the platform is, / empowering parents. Just go there, join the community as we continue to grow. And it is my hope and it is my prayer that by being a part of this community, that you will grow in connection with your children. Now, let me just say this as well. I want to say this because sometimes you may hear me say praying for the children. As a person of faith, that is how I actually learned to begin connecting from the very first start. When my children grew up, more or less, they were more fearful of me than so they wasn't able to connect with me. And it took a lot of what I like to call not hard work, but heart work, right? It took a lot of hard work. And that hard work for me personally was because of the relationship that I actually have with Jesus Christ. Why do I say that? Because while this community is not a religious community, no, we're not going to be doing Bible studies necessarily. Although we may do a class for Christian parents as well in parenting. But I wanted to say that because I don't want you to be surprised and get shell shocked or exit the community because you hear me say Jesus.
Thank you all for joining, for the people that will be joining. And about the community and wanting people to engage, I think it's probably worth it to note that even some of the information that is shared, it might be quite different from how you were raised or how you're currently raising your child or children. Even some of the things that people might share, some perspectives that they might have, they might be very, very different from what you've come up with and what you currently have the knowledge of. And I wanted to say that that's okay, because I do know that people tend to parent in a couple of different ways, but to be mindful of the fact that just because you're unfamiliar with it and it is new, that it might not necessarily be wrong. I think that we are all for protecting kids, as well as making sure that they are coming up in safe and healthy environments. And so also having that in mind, that whatever information is shared, that if you've come across something that might be considered unsafe, to please let one of the moderators know, but also just to make sure that you are being open and mindful to some of the new information that might be new or a bit unfamiliar and might even seem a little strange. So I think that was probably worth adding.
Yeah, I like that. In fact, I would say straight out offensive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Offense. And
Yeah.
the reason why I say that is because I done what I knew how to do, and that
Right.
of course is as the young people will call it, shade on my father at all or my mother. But I done what I know how to do. So I may share, when I first went to school, I cried all through kindergarten. Don't y'all laugh at me or put any strange things.
I
in
think
the
I did
comments.
too. I think I was told
Really?
that I did too.
Yeah. So what I did, what happened when I came home, my dad's way of fixing that was to whip something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah.
And I didn't cry anymore. So for the first few years of my daughter's life, she spent it with her grandmother and not in our household. So when she first came to actually live with us, and she was crying because she wanted to go back to her grandmother, that was offensive, right?
I do remember this.
So
Yeah.
you remember
I
that?
do.
Sorry,
I
baby.
do.
Sorry. Right. So I mean, the first thing I
Mhm.
had, all I knew is because my dad whipped me.
Mhm.
She got whipped. So I whipped her because that was all I knew
Mhm.
how to do.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you said that, because to shift our perspectives means that we have to begin to have a new mindset.
Mhm.
And whenever you begin to introduce new concepts to our mind, that it automatically fights against that. When I'm normally facilitating other classes, and we're trying to introduce a new concept, and this includes parenting skills that you may have not ever known, your brain will fight that.
Right.
I like to share with people. It's like if you're going through a forest. Whenever you go through a forest, you're going to take the path of least resistance, especially if you don't have any tools. So there's a worn path. You're going to always go down that same path. However, what occurs is, and what we're trying to do, and with many of the facilitators that's going to be in here, the moderators and administrators, is we're trying to give you tools to begin to create new pathways. I believe some of the neuroscientists calls this a neuron, the neural pathways within your brain. So think of it that way. So if you always knew how to do something the way you know how to do it, that's the way you can always know I want to do it. But it can seem somewhat offensive, because I would hear parents say all the time, "Well, that's the way my parents treated me, and I'm okay."
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. So what we're trying to do is give you tools, give you skill sets to where you can begin creating those new neural pathways
Mhm.
within your brain, giving yourself a chance to begin connecting with your child, and experiencing the kind of relationship actually we have now.
Right.
You know,
It's very